welcome to this video. Today I'm going to give you a tour of the new bonus features that I added into my Google Sheets meal planner and automated grocery list. I added these features into the meal planner premium edition. So if you already purchased the meal planner premium edition, I will show you where you can find this new file at the end of the video. And super important, in this video, I will only go over the new bonus features. So if you watch this, you'll also get a very general idea of how the template works and how it behaves. And then if you would like to learn more, you can take a look at the other videos that I will leave linked in the description. So let's get started and let me show you all of the new bonus features. So the first new features can be found in the item list tab. This is the tab where you're supposed to create a database of all of the things that you usually buy at the grocery store. And the bonus features that I added here is that similar to how you create a list of categories, you can now also create a list of the grocery stores in which you usually buy, and then you can assign a grocery store to each item. So this will also show up in your final grocery lists. And then the second bonus feature that I added is the unit cost. So now you can assign a unit cost to each item. And if you do decide to use this feature, just make sure that the unit and the unit cost make sense together. So if you are using kilogram as a unit, make sure that you're adding the unit cost for 1 kilogram. And remember, this is plain text. You can add whatever you like here. Just make sure that the unit and the unit cost make sense together, because in the end, your final grocery lists will be taking quantities and multiplying them by the unit cost, so you can get an approximate amount of how much you're going to pay for that grocery list. So adding all of this is completely optional, but the more information you add, the more information you'll have in your final grocery lists. So let me show you how those would look like. So I'm going to jump into one of my weekly tabs. There's 5 of them and they will all look exactly the same. So I'm going to go ahead, select a few meals. I already customized this with a few meals, so I could use them as examples. All of your grocery lists for each day of the week will be joined together in one final grocery list that will now look something like this. It's a bit bigger than the original version. Similar to how you have a category for each item, you now also have a grocery store. So you can sort by item, you can sort by category, or you can sort by grocery store. And then the second bonus feature is over here, and that's the unit cost. And this unit cost will be pulled automatically from my item list database, and whatever you change in that database will be reflected over here. And then the total, it's pretty straightforward. All that's happening is the quantity is being multiplied by the unit cost, and using this is completely optional. But if you do want to use the unit cost and get a total, make sure that your items always have quantities. So I'm just gonna allow zeros to appear on my list so you can see what happens when you do not add a quantity. So I added conditioner, my quantity is 0 because I did not add anything over here. And if you take a look at your total, you'll see the unit cost, but it will be grayed out because your quantity is 0, and then your total will be 0. So it's very important that if you want to use this total feature, you always add quantities into your items. So if I add 1, then now it will be taken into consideration. And then the list in the monthly grocery list tab looks exactly the same way as the list in the weekly tabs that we just went through. And the same thing applies over here. If you add an item without a quantity, it won't be taken into consideration in the total. And then, as you may recall, you also get a tab in which you can create manual grocery lists. It's the digital checklist tab. So this one also changed. I also added a section for the grocery store and the unit cost, and I added this section over here. This is automated so that whenever you add a quantity, let's say cereal for example, you add a unit cost, then the total will be calculated automatically. So you can either just add things manually in here, or you can paste a pre-made grocery list from another tab, and then you can make manual changes. So for example, the monthly grocery list tab, if I want to bring with me everything including the unit cost, I'm going to go ahead and copy everything from the first quantity all the way to the very last unit cost, this very last row. So I'm going to copy this, and then I'm going to jump into my digital checklist tab, and I'm going to paste it by right-clicking on this first quantity and selecting the option paste special values only. Remember, you have to paste it that way so you don't mess mess up the scratching effect. So this layout is exactly the same as this one. It even has this gap over here, so that allows you to just copy and paste. And once you do, you can go ahead and make manual changes to the unit cost. You can make manual changes to the quantities, the grocery store. If you want to learn more about this tab, you can take a look at the other videos. And then I also added a couple new sections with links for easy access. So the first one can be found in the item list tab. If you jump over here and you scroll all the way to the right, you're gonna find this item lookup section. This is how it looks like when it's empty. And this drop down is a list of every single item that you added on both of your tables. So you can either pick an item from the list or you can start typing and then select an item. And as you can see, as soon as I selected this item, the link turned blue. So if I click on it or hover over it, you're gonna see that this will appear. And if you click on this label, you're gonna jump into that particular item very easily. And this will work on both tables. So whatever you add here, you can click on the go link and you'll jump into that section. So if you need to make a change, you can find the item very easily. And I also added this item lookup section to every single weekly tab. So if you jump back in here, you're gonna find that exact same section over here. So whatever you select, if you click on the go link and then click here, you're gonna jump into that row in the item list tab. And then I added something similar in your dish ingredients tab. This is the tab where you let your template know which items you want added automatically into your grocery list whenever you select a specific meal. And what I added here is a way to easily find a meal. So what's new in this table is I added this column in which I let you know which section this meal belongs to. This didn't used to be there. And then you can also filter this list by section. So if you want to just see breakfast ideas, for example, you can filter by breakfast ideas. If you select view all, you'll see them all. If you delete your selection just by pressing delete on your keyboard, you'll still see them all. And then I also added an order by dropdown. So if you want to order by total, for example, you'll see the cheapest meal at the top. And if you want to see the cheapest breakfast, for example, then you can select only breakfast ideas and you'll see the cheapest one at the top. And then if you want to jump into that section, you can just use these links. So this table used to be simpler. There didn't used to be a way to filter it or order it. So that's new. And this total for each meal is also new. So whatever unit cost you add on your database will be multiplied by your quantity over here. And remember, if you want to use fractions, they have to be added as a decimal. So this is how a half of something would look like. So this is how much I added for a pound as a unit cost. And if I do half a pound, this is what I'm going to get as a total. And then totals for each item on each individual meal will be added up together and will be shown over here. And if I change something, maybe increase this, then this will also change automatically. So if you are very interested in knowing how much one serving for one meal would cost, you can be very thorough with your quantities, with your units, your unit costs, and then you'll get a very thorough total if that's something that's important to you. And if it's not, you can absolutely ignore that. So you can use this section to quickly jump into a specific meal, or you can use one of the weekly tabs. I also added an additional dish idea lookup section. So you'll find a list of all of the meals that have items assigned to them, and whenever you select a meal, you'll see the items that are assigned over here. That was in the previous version as well, but what's new is that I also added a link. So if you click on this link and then click on this label, you're gonna jump into the first item that you added for that meal on the dish ingredients tab. So these are just easy access links that I added in case you find that useful. And then for our final bonus feature, you might have noticed that there are additional rows on each of these 4 sections. So the original version has 3 rows on each section. If you need more, the bonus version has 5 rows on each section, and then everything else behaves exactly the same. And since now there are more rows on each day, your calendar will also show more rows. So if you like to print this calendar tab, my suggestion is that you don't try to print all 5 weeks in one page. My suggestion is that you print 1 or 2 weeks in a single page, just so the fonts don't end up being too small. So those are all the bonus features that I added. And in case you're wondering about the Dish Ideas tab, this one did not change. It looks exactly the same. So that's it for the tour, and now I am going to show you where you can find this new bonus file. If you already purchased the Meal Planner Premium Edition, you will have access to both files, even if you purchased it before today. So you can decide if you want to use the original version, which looks exactly the same way as the videos linked in the description, or if you want to use this new version with all of these additional features. Totally up to you. So if you already purchased the template, let me show you where you can find this new file. So if you purchased the template after I created this new file, you're very easily going to find the update. You're going to jump into your Start Here tab, and then you're going to find this purple section over here that says New Bonus Features. Hi there, I recently created a new file. So this is a place where you'll find everything you need. And if you're not seeing it, don't worry, hold on a second. I'll just walk you through it. And then if you're not seeing it, I will show you how to find it. So this first section over here will have a link to this video in case you ever need to refer back to it. This second section over here will have a link to give you access to the new file. And then over here, you will find a link to a video that will guide you through how to transfer your information from the original version into this new version in case you already started filling it out and would like to move everything over. So if you're already seeing this, this is where you'll find the link to access the new file. And if your Start Here tab does not look like this, or if you deleted it, don't worry, I will show you how to access it. The first thing you have to do is you have to open the PDF that you received with your purchase. So you're going to open that PDF, and what you're going to do is you're going to jump into the page in which you found the original link to the spreadsheet, and you're going to click on this link again. So once you do that, you'll have access to a file that has the Start Here tab, and in that Start Here tab, you will find this section over here. So you will find everything you need to access this new version. And if you lost the PDF, please do your best to try to find it. You can find it on your email, you can find it on your downloads around the date that you purchased. If you purchased through Etsy, you can find it on your Etsy account. And if you absolutely cannot find this PDF to access the original link, I will leave instructions for you in the description, so make sure to check that out. So that's it for this video. I hope you like these new features that I added, and I hope you find them useful. So I'll see you in the next video, and thank you so much for watching.